Hello everyone. Welcome once again in lecture number 17, the P block elements standard 11th. As we know that at presently we are continue with our topic NCERT exercise and solutions. In last lecture we completed NCERT in-text solved questions and NCERT exercise question from 1 to 20. Now today we proceeds from question number 21 to onwards. First, explain the following reactions. Silicon is heated with a methyl chloride at high temperature in presence of copper. We all know that a mixture of methyl chloride and silicon, when we heated at near about 100 degrees centigrade temperature in presence of copper powder. So various mixture of the compounds that we have to get is a mono means tetramethyl mono di and trimethyl chlorosilane, all the compound that we have to get when we have to perform this reaction. Point number 2, silicon dioxide is treated with hydrogen fluoride. So silicon dioxide when heated with hydrogen fluoride, so it gives converted into SiF4. Same way, SiF4 is react with HF, so it's converted into H2SiF6. So it's called as an hydrofluorosilicic acid. Third one, carbon monoxide is heated with zinc oxide, carbon is heated with zinc oxide. So we know that when carbon is heated with a zinc oxide, right? So in this portion we get a product. Is like that. Okay. So zinc oxide when reacts with a carbon monoxide. So zinc and CO2 is liberated. Third one, alumina, right? Which is dissolved. Hydrated alumina is treated with aqueous NaOH. We know that this hydrated alumina when reacts with NaOH, so is converted into sodium meta aluminate, and it says that the nature of the amphoteric nature of the aluminium. Next, give reasons. First, concentrated HNO3 can be transported in aluminium container. We know that aluminium reacts with concentrated HNO3 to form a very thin layer of aluminium oxide on its surface, and which protects it from the further reaction. So aluminium become passive. That's why aluminium containers can be used to transport concentrated HNO3. Number 2, graphite is used as a lubricant, right? So we know that graphite has layered structure, right? Layered structure in which the different layers are held together by weak van der Waals forces, and hence can be made to slip over one over another. So graphite acts as a lubricant. Third one, diamond is used as an abrasive. So we know that diamond is very hard because it's due to three-dimensional network, so hence can be used as an abrasive. Number 5, aluminium alloys are used to make an aircraft body, because aluminium alloys such as duralumin is light, tough and resistant to corrosion, and hence to be used for an aircraft body. Next one is given like that. So aluminium utensils should not be kept in water overnight. Why? Because aluminium reacts with water and dissolved O2 to form a thin layer of aluminium oxide. So a very small amount of Al2O3 may dissolve to give a few ppm of Al plus 3 ions in the solutions. And we know that these aluminium plus 3 ions are injurious for health. Therefore, drinking water should not be kept in aluminium utensils overnight. Or sometimes we can't use such a type of aluminium utensils for our health issue, right? Next one, aluminium wire is used to make transmission cable. So on weight to weight basis, we always know that the aluminium conducts twice as copper. Therefore, it's called is used in the transmission cables. Then question number 23 is explain why there is a phenomena decrease in ionization enthalpy from carbon to silicon. We all know that due to the increase in atomic size and screening effect, the force of attractions of the nucleus for the valence electron, which is decreasing considerably in silicon as compared to the carbon. So as a result, there is a phenomena decrease in ionization enthalpy from carbon to silicon. How would you explain the lower atomic radius of gallium as compared to the aluminium? So we know that due to poor shielding of the valence electron of gallium by the inner 3d electrons, the effective nuclear charge of gallium is greater in magnitude than that of the aluminium. So as a result, the electron in gallium experience greater force of attractions by nucleus than in aluminium. So the atomic size of gallium means 1.35 angstrom is slightly less than that of the aluminium is 1.43 angstrom. What are the allotropies, and sketch the structure of two allotropies of carbon, namely diamond and graphite, and what is the impact of structure on the physical properties of these two allotropies that we already discussed in a very deep manner in our theoretical portions. Okay. Next, question number 26. Classify following oxides are neutral, acidic, basic or amphoteric. As we know that the metallic oxides always basic in nature, non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature, and those oxides who are amphoteric in nature, so either they are metalloid in nature. So we know that neutral oxide is carbon monoxide, while the remaining acidic oxides are B2O3, SiO2, CO2, and amphoteric oxides Al2O3 and lead oxide, and basic oxide is Tl2O3. Next, question number 27. So what they given? In some of the reactions, thallium resembles aluminium, where in other it resembles with group 1 metal. Support this statement by giving some evidence. So aluminium shows a uniform oxidation state of +3. Like aluminium, thallium also shows a +3 oxidation is some of its compounds like TiCl3, Tl2O3. But like aluminium and thallium, they also forms octahedral compounds like AlF6-3 and TlF6-3. And group 1 metals shows an oxidation state of +1 like group 1 metals. So thallium, due to inert pair effect, also shows a +1 oxidation state in some of its compound. Likewise TiCl, Tl2O likewise. Okay, so like group 1 oxides, Tl2O is strongly basic because it's a metallic character. When metal acts, so such a type of questions may be asked in MCQ form 2. Okay, question number 28. When metal acts is treated with sodium hydroxide, a white precipitate is obtained which is soluble in excess of NaOH to give a soluble complex B. Now this compound A is soluble in dilute HCl. So here we already have an idea that your X is treated with base as well as acid. So X must be amphoteric in nature, and in our this group aluminium is the main elements which is behave as a amphoteric, means they having an amphoteric nature. So the compound A, when is heated with a strongly, gives B, which is used to extract metal. So identify this X, A, B, C, D and write the suitable equations to support their identities. So we know that the X reacts with NaOH to first give a white precipitate, means aluminium hydroxide, and this aluminium hydroxide is further reacts with NaOH, is converted into sodium tetrahydroxoaluminate. Because A is having a nature of amphoteric nature, so it gives a dilute hydrochloric acid to form a AlCl3. And now this aluminium hydroxide, when it's heated, so it's converted into Al2O3 and H2O. Next, question number 29. They given what do you understand by inert pair effect, allotropy and catenations, that we have to already discuss. So please see my prior videos of the theoretical point of view. Question number 30. A certain salt X gives the following results. Its aqueous solutions is alkaline to litmus. So we know that the aqueous solution of salt is alkaline to litmus. It must be the salt of a strong base and weak acid, because salt is made up with acid and base, and if your salt is alkaline in nature, so it means that your base is strong and acid is weaker in nature. Number 2, it swells up to a glassy material. Why? On the strong heating. Glassy material, we know that it's a borax bead test. So salt X is swells up to glassy material Y on the strong heating. Therefore, X must be borax and Y must be mixture of sodium metaborate and boric anhydride. Right? Number 3, when concentrated H2SO4 is added to a hot solution of X, right? So white crystal of an acid Z separates out, right? So we know that when concentrated H2SO4 is added into the hot solution of X, borax white crystal of an acid Z separated out. Therefore, Z must be orthoboric acid, right? So, and we gave the reactions in such a manner. Fine. Next, question number 31. Write balance equation for BF3 and lithium hydride. So it's a simple preparation of diborane. Number 2, diborane, the hydrolysis of diborane gives a orthoboric acid. Same way, when diborane is reacted with NaH, sodium hydride, so it gives sodium borohydride. When orthoboric acid is heated, so it's converted, because it's a removal of water, and it's converted into metaboric acid, and further this metaboric acid is also converted into tetraboric acid, and last one is boron trioxide or the anhydride of boron, right? Next one is the aluminium NaOH. रिपीटिवली आपने देखा होगा कि काफी बार ये रिएक्शंस यहाँ पे दिखा रहा है. So aluminium when reacts with NaOH, so it's converted into sodium. Aluminium means tetrahydroxo aluminate and hydrogen is liberated. And diborane when reacts with ammonia, so it's converted into BH3 NH3, and there is a coordinate bond between BH3 and NH3. Next, question number 32. Give one method for industrial preparations and one for laboratory preparations of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Means the industrial process is a simple. We have to take a carbon, and limited supply of air is converted into carbon monoxide. Same way, if we take a carbon and excesses of air converted into carbon dioxide. So in first case, incomplete combustion, and in second case is a complete combustion. And by laboratory means of view, formic acid, when it's reacted in presence of H2SO4, so it's converted into carbon monoxide and H2O, and calcium carbonate when reacts with hydrochloric acid, so it's converted into calcium chloride, CO2 and H2O. An aqueous solution of borax, mind well, is what? Because it's such a type of MCQ, we know that borax is one type of salt. So this salt is made up with a weak acid, boric acid, and strong base, NaOH. So definitely our salt is basic in nature. Next, boric acid is polymeric due to what? So we know that boric acid is polymeric, and the reason behind that, okay, why the reason? Because it's due to hydrogen bond, the presence of hydrogen bond, the type of hybridization of boron in diborane. So it's sp3 hybridized. So option C is correct. Next one, question number 36. Thermodynamically, the most stable form of carbon. Thermodynamically, so graphite is the highly stable in nature. Element of group 14 means they exhibit what? Oxidation state +4 only, exhibit +2 and +4, they M2 minus M +4 or M2 and M +4 ion. So due to inert pair effect, right? So they exhibit both oxidation state 2 and 4 is the correct one. Question number 38. If the starting material for the manufacture of silicon is R2SiCl3, so write the structure of the product formed. So in this case, when we have to perform the trichlorosilane, hydrolysis of this trichlorosilane, it gives first such a type of acid, so it's silicic acid, and now the polymerization gives the cross-linked silicons. So this is all about the solutions of our NCERT exercise, right? So now we completed the solution of this NCERT exercise, and now we move to the last portion of this NCERT exemplar solution. Okay, so before we start the NCERT, because we know that then in the NCERT exemplar solution, first we start with such a type of MCQ with a one correct answer, then more than one correct answer. Okay, so now we start the NCERT exemplar. So the first MCQ, the element which exists in liquid state for a wide range of temperature and can be used for measuring high temperature, right? Once again, we know that the element which is exist in liquid state, so our natural answer is gallium, because gallium has a different structure consisting of Ga2 molecule with a lowest boiling point and exists as a liquid for from 30 to 2000 degrees centigrade. So hence it is used in the high temperature thermometry. Which of the following is a Lewis acid? We know that out of all the questions, MgCl2, CaCl2, BaCl2, they are all metal in nature, but AlCl3, right? Because in this case of AlCl3, we know that there is no octet is not complete, so they are ready to accept electrons in AlCl3. And we know that aluminium is surrounded by 6 electrons, so 3 chlorine atoms are surrounded by 8 electrons, so it's an electron acceptor group. Next, the geometry of a complex species can be understood from the knowledge of the type of hybridizations of orbitals of central atom. So the hybridizations of orbitals of central atom in BeOH4- and the geometry of the complex are respectively what? So we know that once again BeOH4, so it's definitely 4 OH is attached with the beryllium, so 4 hybrid orbitals are present, so sp3 is the perfect answer. Right? Next one. Number 4. Which of the following oxides is acidic in nature? Acidic in nature. We know that the non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. So out of given options, so A option is the boron is due to non-metal, so it's acidic in nature. Next, number 5. The exhibition of highest coordination number depends on the availability of the vacant orbital in the central atom. So which of the following element is not likely to act as a central atom in MF6-3? So we know that boron does not having a d orbital, so the coordination number is 6, so boron can have a maximum coordination number 4, so boron cannot form such a type of complex. Number 6. Boric acid is an acidic because its molecule, why? Because they accept OH- ion from water and releasing a proton. As we already know that, right? Next is number 7. Catenation means linking the similar atom depends on the size and electronic configurations of atoms. The tendency of catenation in group 14 elements follows the order. We know that from carbon to silicon, silicon to germanium, and germanium to T. So it's the correct order for the catenations phenomena. So now in number 8, silicon has a strong tendency to form a polymer like silicones. So the chain length of silicon polymers can be controlled by adding, because we have to block the end with the help of this Me3SiCl, means trimethyl chloride, right? So they control and which blocks the end. Okay. Next, number 9, ionization's enthalpy for the elements of group 13. Ionization enthalpy, right? So we know that boron having a ionization's enthalpy as compared to the aluminium, because ionization enthalpy decrease down the group because as the size of the atom is increasing, and screening effect. But we know that aluminium to gallium ionization enthalpy increase slightly because both nuclear charges and screening effect increase, but due to poor shielding by d electrons, effective nuclear charge on valence electron is more. As a result, ionization enthalpy increases. But on moving from gallium to indium, again ionization enthalpy decrease due to the shielding effect of d electrons. On moving from indium to thallium, ionization enthalpy again increase because of the poor shielding effect of 4f electron. That's why effective nuclear charge increases and ionization enthalpy increases. Next question is given like that. It's a question number 10. Question number 10. In the structure of diboron, all hydrogen atoms lie in one plane and boron atoms lie in plane perpendicular to this plane. No, it's not wrong one. 2 boron atoms and 4 terminal hydrogen atoms lie in same plane, and 2 bridge, yes, is a perfect one. B is the perfect answer. And next, C and D. So we know that here the answer is Bombay. Okay. Next question. A compound X of boron reacts with ammonia on heating to give another compound Y, which is called inorganic benzene. So the compound X can be prepared by treating BF3 with lithium aluminium hydride. So we know that they are represented by the diboron and triazine, means or inorganic benzene. Okay, or sometimes called as borazole 2. Next, question number 12. So question number 12 is given here like that. Quartz is extensively used as a piezoelectric material because its dielectric constant, right? So its dielectric constant is quite good. So, and quartz is one of the crystalline form of silica, and high temperature can be converted into other crystalline form. So silicon is the perfect answer. The most commonly used reducing agent, we know that SnCl2 is the most common reducing agent, because reducing agent means they reduce the opposite and they oxidize itself. So Sn, there is a probability from Sn plus 2 to Sn plus 4. That's why SnCl2 act as a reducing agent. Dry ice, we know that all dry ice is a solid carbon dioxide formation. Then cement, the important building material, is a mixture of oxides of several elements. Besides calcium, iron and sulfur oxides of element, which of the groups are present in the mixture? We know that in the cement is manufactured by substance like calcium oxide, lime. Clay contains silica and oxides of aluminium, magnesium and iron too. Right? So we know that in the group 2, group 13 and group 14, all these group elements are present in the cement. So this is all about the one correct answer. Now we move to the more than multiple choice question with more than one correct answer. The reason for small radius of gallium, compared to aluminium is a poor screening effect of D and F orbital, definitely. Increase in nuclear charge, sure. But presence of higher orbitals, no, and higher atomic orbitals is not a perfect options. So A and B is the perfect option for this reason. Okay. The linear shape of CO2, what is the meaning? sp hybridization of carbon, yes, and p-pi bonding between carbon and oxygen. Okay, so the structure of CO is a linear in nature. Third one. Mg3SiCl is used during polymerization of organosilane because chain length of organosilane polymers can be controlled by adding Me3SiCl, because which blocks the end. Okay, number 2, Mg3SiCl blocks the N terminal of silicon polymer. So A and B both are correct answer. Which of the following statements are correct? First one, fullerenes have dangling bonds. No. Fullerenes are cage-like molecule. Yes, because fullerene C16 molecules has the shape like a soccer ball and called Buckyman structure fullerenes, right? Graphite is thermodynamically most stable allotropy of carbon. True. Both are true. B and C, both options are true. Number 20, they given like that. Which of the following statements are correct? Answer on the basis of the figure given below. We know that it's a figure of diboron, right? So the 4 terminal hydrogen atoms and the 2 boron atoms lying in one plane, above and below this plane. So there are 2 bridges hydrogen atoms. So the 4 terminal BH bonds are regular and 2 center 2 electron bonds, while the 2 bridges bonds are different and can be given in this figure. So here the 2 bridges hydrogen atoms and the 2 boron atoms lying in one plane. Yes, true. Out of the 6 BH bond, 2 bonds can be described in terms of 3 center 2 electron bond. True. And D, the 4 terminal BH bonds are 2 center 2 electron regular bonds. So okay, so answer is A, B and D. Last MCQ of this P block elements in NCERT exemplar, identify the correct resonance structure of carbon dioxide from the ones given below. So we have to represent a carbon dioxide structure. So first B is the perfect structure and D is also the perfect structure. But C is wrong in nature, because if the C and O having a triple bond, so at that time O having a plus charge. So A and C both are wrong. So B and D is the perfect representation of the resonating structure. Now we move to the another short answer type of question. Draw the structure of BCl3, ammonia and AlCl3. We know that in BCl3, boron is attached with chlorine by covalent bond, but octet of boron is not complete, so it requires 2 electron or pair of the electrons to complete its octet. So such a type of electron deficient molecules have tendency to accept a pair of electrons to achieve stable electronic configurations and thus behave as a Lewis acids. And the tendency to behave as a Lewis acid, which is decreased with increase in the size down the group. So BCl3 easily accepts a lone pair of electron from ammonia to form such a type of coordinate bond compound. AlCl3 achieves stability by forming a dimer in the trivalent state, because most of the compounds being covalent are hydrolyzed in water. For example, the trichlorides on hydrolysis, this AlCl3 on hydrolysis in water to form a tetrahedral MOH4. So these elements is given like that. Next one, explain the nature of boric acid as a Lewis acid in nature. કેટલી બધી વખત આપણે most of the time that we have to say is that boric acid acts as a Lewis acid in water by accepting a pair of electrons from a hydroxyl ion. I think so 4 to 5 times that we have to repeatedly ask the question in a different manner. Draw the structure of boric acid as showing hydrogen bonding and which species is present in water, and what is the hybridization of boron in this species. So we know that it has a layer structure in which planar H3BO3 units are joined by hydrogen bonds forming hexagonal ring. So boric acid is a weak monobasic acid and it is not a protonic acid but act as a Lewis acid by accepting electrons from a hydroxyl ion. And in water, boric acid is present in the form of BOH4- species. So hybridization is sp3. Next is given like that. What they given? Explain why the following compounds behave as a Lewis acid. Same boron, aluminium surrounded by 6 electron, right? In each chlorine, each chlorine atom in both is surrounded by 8 electrons. So BCl3 and AlCl3 are electron deficient. So definitely they're ready to accept a pair of electrons, hence they act as a Lewis acid. Next one, give reason for the following. CCl4 is immiscible in water, whereas SiCl4 is easily hydrolyzed. हमने पढ़ लिया है, हमने आगे NCERT एक्सरसाइज में भी देखा हुआ था कि CCl4 is a covalent compound and cannot form hydrogen bond with polar H2, and C does not have a d orbitals to accommodate the lone pair of the electrons from oxygen of the water molecule. Other tetrachlorides are easily hydrolyzed by water because the central atom can accommodate the lone pair of electrons from oxygen atom of water molecule, right, in d orbital. So hydrolysis can understand by taking the example of SiCl4. It undergoes hydrolysis by initially accepting the lone pair of electron from water molecule in d orbitals of silicon, and finally it's converted into silicic acid. Another reason is carbon has a strong tendency for catenation compared to silicon. So we know that carbon atoms have the tendency to link with one another through covalent bonds to form a chain and rings, and this property is called as a catenation. And this is because carbon-carbon bonds are very strong. Down the group size increases and electronegativity decreases, so thereby tendency to show a catenation or it's a formation of p-pi bonding is decreasing. So it can be clearly seen from the bond enthalpy value that the catenation order is like that, and lead does not show such a type of catenation. Question number 27. Explain the following. Carbon dioxide is a gas where SiO2 is a solid. Simple carbon dioxide sp hybridizations, and here 2 sp hybridized orbital of carbon atom overlap with 2 p orbital of oxygen atoms and 2 sigma bonds, while other 2 electrons carbon atoms are involved in p-pi bonding with oxygen atom. So linear shape, bond length is near about 115 picometer and no dipole moment. But we know that silicon dioxide is a covalent in nature, three-dimensional network solid in which a silicon atom is covalently bonded in a tetrahedral manner of four oxygen atoms. So each oxygen atoms in turn covalently bond to another silicon atoms, which is given in this figure. Alright, so the entire crystal may be considered as a giant molecule in which 8-member rings are formed with alternate silicon oxygen atoms. Next question, silicon forms SiF6-2 ion where corresponding fluorocompounds of carbon is not known. Simple answer, silicon has a vacant d orbital in its valence shell due to which it can accommodate 6 electrons from 6 fluorine atoms, where carbon does not, because it does not contain d orbitals, so they cannot expand its covalency beyond 4. तो आज हम यहीं पे रुकेंगे, 27 पे रुकेंगे. नेक्स्ट लेक्चर से हम इसका एनसीईआरटी का एग्जाम्पलर आगे बढ़ाएंगे. तो ये जो हमारी जो प्रोसेस है, तो नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में हम क्वेश्चन नंबर 28 टू ऑनवर्ड्स चलेंगे. थैंक यू वेरी मच.